Hi, it's Jen with Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. This week, like I said, we are doing the weekly astrology forecast here on location, and we are on beautiful Lake Sebago in Maine. And like I said, we are on Lake Sebago because we are currently boatside on the lake. So we have some beautiful background to look at instead of just the background of my living room. So let's talk about what's going on for the week of August 13th through August 19th. So I'm calling this Heal Your Heart and Light Up Your Destiny, because we start off the week with something I've been talking about for a while now, and it's the Sun conjunction with Venus retrograde. So this is the inferior conjunction. We've talked about this in the past, so I'm not going to go into a super lot of detail, but I'll add a link in the description just in case you haven't watched it. So definitely check it out so you can get a little bit caught up. But I did want to add, I know I've said in the past videos that, don't go back to old relationships. When you have Venus in retrograde, you have a tendency to maybe hook up with past flames or, start thinking back to the past. There's a reason that these people are in the past, so we want to keep that in mind. But also, maybe it is a time that if somebody reaches out from the past, maybe if there's unfinished business, maybe now is a good time to find that closure that you never had before. Especially because on the 14th, we have Venus in a trine to Chiron, and that's really healing your heart from past heartache. That trine to Chiron is this past things that might not heal on its own. So maybe it is that somebody's reaching out to heal a hurt that they caused. Maybe someone did something to you that maybe broke your heart, that maybe you're carrying around as baggage into current relationships. So this could be a great aspect to kind of get over it. This is the third petal on that point of Venus cycle. So it's, the star cycle, the 5-petal cycle, the pentagram, however you want to look at it. But it is the third. It's the third point, which is the peak point. So it started on this cycle started on June 20 in Gemini. Then it went to Capricorn, Leo, Aries, Scorpio. So Leo right now is where we are, and then we have Aries and Scorpio coming up next. Now these are the retrograde star points and not the direct star points, because there is a retrograde star, and that's kind of like a leapfrogging with the direct cycle. So we're in right now currently at the peak of the retrograde star cycle. So again, we're halfway through. So if you are into yoga or meditation, this is a time that you want to really focus on that heart chakra, really open your heart, again, heal from those past heartaches. Get rid of that baggage that you've been carrying around with you from past relationships. There's no reason to be bringing that into current relationships. It's time to just get over it. So then on the 15th, we have Sun in a square with Uranus. This urges us to be a little bit more open-minded, try and be open to unexpected change, and don't be afraid. Change is necessary in the world. With the square, again, squares can make you feel uncomfortable. They could be a little bit, a little bit rough. That change could come a little more, with a little more pains than easy. Could have some setbacks, some blockages, but, you or others could be more temperamental with this kind of square, flying off the handle easy. Your sense of security, your comfort level may be upended. That could make you feel tense. It could make you feel angry. And then, but if you think about it, complacency and sedentary lifestyles, they really don't do anything. They're just unhealthy for us. You don't want to just be sitting all day. You want to get out there. You want to do something. You want to make change, because without change, everything stays the same. Life would be like it was hundreds of years ago if it wasn't for, Uranus pushing change, So we want to actively seek these changes, embrace them. Don't be afraid, in order to grow, we need to face these changes and be positive about it. Oh, that cloud behind me really looks dark. I hope that's not a bad sign. So then on the 16th, we have our new moon in Leo. So we also did a video on this last week. I'm going to put a link to the description, a link to that video in the description, as well as the Venus Sun conjunction. But to sum up, it's about kind of shining your light, all about that heart, all about doing what your heart desires and really kind of getting a jump start on doing what is you're meant for in this life. The sun is your drive, it's your destiny, it's what you're meant for. So that's what you want to go for in this life. And again, being sedentary, things aren't going to just fall in your lap. Things don't just fall out of the sky and say, here, you're famous, here, you're, married, popular, anything. If you want to have these things, you have to work towards having a good life, towards having a career that you want, that's going to make you happy, towards having a partner that is the right partner for you and not settling. You want to change, you want to improve yourself, and that way you can improve your life around you. So, you want to get that plan started. And this month again is a little bit of a more simmery month. So it's kind of going to be a slow build, but it's a good time to just start that planning. So on the 16th, we have Mars in Virgo, and that's in a trine to a Uranus. So this is about impulsivity, spontaneity. It's a good time for some, get out there, action, maybe start a backyard football game, do a good HIIT workout where it's just, action, 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 rest, action, 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 and changing. And, so really, you're going to have a lot of energy. So, I've even noticed just coming up onto this trine that, the last 2 days I've been taking my dog out for runs. She's actually been doing pretty good. So it's been nice to get out there because I've been really lazy, finding excuses not to do anything. A lot of this fixed energy is making me be complacent also. So I've actually been pushing myself to get out and go for runs and really just, use that Mars to just get that energy out and really, do something. Improve your heart, by getting it pumping, improve your physique, improve your health, and then maybe you can, like we've been doing here, go out to a nice seafood dinner afterwards, because what they say about Maine, Portland is the seafood and food capital of the United States, and that is true. So anyway, so again, if you're bored with the status quo, you want to mix things up a little bit. So this is with this, the current Mars, or coming up on the 16th, the Mars we're getting wavy, Mars in Virgo trine with Uranus. So look at that. Talk about Mars with Uranus trine. We're getting a little bit wavy here, so a little bit of sudden change. So that's kind of funny. If you're anyway, back to this trine. If you're normally uptight, try letting loose a little bit. Take a risk. It might benefit, if you're looking for changes, take that risk, do something different. This is a positive aspect. So you want to build positive results. Now, because this is a mundane aspect, it's not something that, it might not be directly aspecting anything major in your chart, or maybe it is. So, if you haven't, you definitely want to pull your chart up and, take a look and see if this is aspecting, especially on a positive scale, even on a negative scale, that Uranus, it could cause a little bit, big changes, but on a mundane level, this could be a lot more subtle. So, kind of some thoughts that I had to go along with it. Again, it's positive, so bring positive results. So Mars, very sexual planet. It's all about, that's that sexual energy that you have. Venus is more about like love, where Mars is more about sex. So try spicing up your sex life a little bit. Try some different positions, try going into a different room. I mean, again, this is kind of mundane. You don't want to get too crazy and go like, let's go to a swingers club or anything like that. You kind of want to keep it under control. Just try something a little bit different. A little spice might be that spark that you need to kind of, get things going again. If you're in a new relationship, don't be afraid to make the first move. Remember, this is a month of a simmering pot, so just keep adding that spice until it tastes just right. So then we have on the 19th, we have Leo, the sun in Leo, trying the North Node. So what is it you feel that drive is pushing you towards? So again, this is more about, just very sun related, very, heart related. What is it that, we want to really just think of, what do we want to do? What were we put on this world to do? Am I doing the job that I want to do? And if we're not, then we really need to think about making some changes and really kind of, or making that job more something that, is something that you love. Is there something about your job that is bothering you? So maybe try and make some changes in that way. Maybe do something with your coworkers to make the workday a little bit more fun. Even, just try and get along with your coworkers a little bit better. That sometimes will just help. So again, building off that new moon, the Mars trine to Uranus, it's a really good week to start figuring out, am I doing what really fulfills me? And how can I make these changes and move towards, making my heart happy with a career that, is one that I'm meant for, not one that I'm just, not just a job. Is it something that, maybe you want to work with helping people? I know one of the dreams that I've always had, I said, if I ever win $1 million, I'm going to open a cat rescue. And, I think that any of you guys that have watched my videos before, I think you know that I do enjoy cats. I have them coming in and out of the videos a lot. But that was always a dream of mine. So, maybe if there's something that you've always wanted to do, maybe even just do it on the side. Maybe do some volunteer work, something to just make your heart happy, to make you feel a little bit more fulfilled. Something that's more suited towards what is going to, make what you're destined for, or just to make your heart a little bit happy. Say you like painting. You don't have to quit your job and become a painter. I love astrology. I still have a full-time job. I'm not just going to quit my job. I wouldn't mind it, but, I like my job. I'm happy there. And I like the people that I work with. So, you can do the things that you're passionate about on the side for like a bonus, to really just kind of make you feel a little bit more fulfilled, make you feel like a little more heart happy. So one thing to look for is when you do pull your chart up, again, go to astro.com and you can pull your chart up. You need your birth time, date, and place, and then you can look at your chart and see where your North Node is and see, what you're meant to do. Right now the North Node mundanely is in Aries, so that's really about taking action. It's trying the sun in Leo, doing what your heart desires. So, it's kind of just really spelled out. This whole week is just spelled out as to do what your heart desires. Follow your heart. First, you want to heal your heart at the beginning of the week with that, with Chiron in there, and with that Sun and Venus conjunction, with that Sun, especially the Venus retrograde. It's about going back, healing what's hurt you before, and then moving forward and doing what your heart really desires, and kind of getting rid of that old baggage and moving forward. So if you're currently unfulfilled, look at your own sun, your own North Node, and what is it that you're destined for. So I have a couple of chart examples. So if you do go on astro.com to get, there is another site called Astro Data Bank, and these two charts are actually on there. They're really fun to look at celebrity charts, because you can look back, and even on Astro Data Bank, it will take you to the Wikipedia page of the celebrities, some celebrity that you choose, and you can really get a background of the person and compare it to their chart. And it's really fascinating when you really start digging and looking in. It's easy to do that with celebrities because a lot of their life is documented. So a couple that I have. The first one I have is Eddie Van Halen. So if we're talking about the sun and then the North Node, his sun is in Aquarius in his fifth house. So fifth house is about creativity. It's about, and especially in Aquarius, it's about doing something different. So if y'all don't know who Eddie Van Halen is, there is a very popular band in the United States in the, I think, late 70s, all through the 80s, 90s. And unfortunately, Eddie Van Halen just passed away a couple years ago. The band was named with his name, Van Halen, and he was probably what people consider the best guitarist of all time. He did things with the guitar that nobody had ever seen before. Very Uranus, very different. And this is kind of what his contribution to society was. People have been emulating him for years after that. So that sun in Aquarius in the fifth house is pretty much spells out what he was destined for. Is just to bring something different to people, use that creativity to really, give to people. And he did. People still love him, and all the newer bands coming up, they look up to him still to this day. His North Node is in the fourth house. So that's kind of your house, your upbringing. So if you know any about his background, the band he was in with his brother, Alex Van Halen, who played the drums. So very family oriented. Also, I watch a cooking show that his once wife, Valerie Bertinelli's in, and she always talks about how they were very family oriented, that they actually, even when he was famous and on the road, they lived with his mother, and she spent a lot of time with his mother. So he was even though he was famous, probably rich as all heck, he still had a lot of focus on his family. He was in the band with his family. So, if you look at that aspect, that sun in Aquarius with the North Node in the fourth house, it's pretty much just spelled out there. You could see what he could have been destined for. The music, the creativity, that's of course in different areas, but those are the really two that I'm concentrating on today. The second one, a little different kind of thought here. So the other one that I looked at was David Koresh. So if anyone knows about him, this was a cult leader in Waco, Texas, back, I think it was in the early 90s. That all this came out. So think cult leaders. It's usually about some kind of like religion, or he wants to be the center. So his sun was in Leo in the 11th house. So sun in Leo, that's all eyes on me. I want everything revolving around me. And in the 11th house, that's about big groups, about friends. And so he had a large group of his followers that lived with him, and they worshiped him. They pretty much thought he was a god. Anything he said, they would do. He was their leader. So center of the group, leader of the pack, that's very Leo. And then when you look at his North Node, that was in the first house, which was in Libra. When you have Libra in your first house, they say that's your face forward. That's your ascendant, is the face that you put out. It's how you face things. It's almost your appearance. And he was very good looking. Most people that have Libra are Libra in the first house are very good looking. It's, Venus ruled, so it's about beauty. He was very good looking, women just kind of, fell all over him. He, I guess, was with most of the women in this, even though they had husbands. Most of them, from documentaries that I heard, they kind of left their husbands to be with him because that's what he told them to do, and they did it. Okay, well, whatever, to each their own. But he became the face of this religion, the face. He was That was his thing, the face of this religion. That's what he wanted to be. That was what his destiny was. Of course, it ended up getting him killed in the end. So, you know, a little different, you know, things. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you look at serial killers charts and they look like the best chart in the world. It just depends on how you use it. Again, you want to work towards doing what you're meant to do, and do things positive. You know, you don't want to be a cult leader. Anyway, so that's about all I have for you today. Cutting it a little bit short. So again, check your chart, see what you should focus on in this life, see where your heart lies, and you know, where should you make these changes in your life. Destiny awaits. So make sure you subscribe and like this video, and please leave a comment and tell me, you know, where are these in your chart? Where is your North Node? Where is your sun? What is it that you're destined for in this world? And what are you going to work for using this new moon? So I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.